Xbox may have done the one thing that has made everybody on the internet angry. No, I'm not kidding. People are incredibly upset that over the weekend, the Xbox PC app can now actually have shortcuts to your existing games in your Steam library. Well, there's a catch to that. Those games have to be locally installed first for it to be shown. I know what some of you are thinking, especially if you are candid PC gamers. One thing is, why would that even matter, Alex? We already can make EXEs as shortcuts into Steam directly. We already have things like GOG Galaxy, Launchbox, and even the Heroic Games launcher. Why is this all of a sudden a big deal? Well, it turns out the rumor going around may be in fact that the next Xbox console, and I use those words in quotations, could in fact just be an Xbox PC, which would allow a lot of users who are Xbox console only gamers to have access to things like the Epic Game Store, GOG, and even, dare I say, Steam itself, giving Xbox users a huge variety of games to pick and choose from, no longer being restricted to a single storefront directly. This flies in the face of everything Microsoft has done in the past with PC gaming in general, with Games for Windows Live locking you behind a walled garden, and even also on the console space with the Xbox One, where if you didn't have online connectivity, you basically just have a brick. However, though, this may be changing because this new update that happened over the weekend for Xbox insiders could prove that there is a proof of concept for this to work directly. There are some caveats and catches, though, as Tom Warren on Friday posted this: "Today is a big Xbox PC day. Microsoft is adding Steam games to its Xbox PC app, Windows for insider testing. It's part of the new aggregated gaming library that will also appear on the new Xbox Ally handhelds." Now, this is, in my opinion, incredibly huge, not only because we're finally seeing Windows let go of that walled garden that they've tried to chase for so incredibly long, but the fact, like that Tom Warren posted in his tweet, this is also showing up on the Xbox Ally itself. In fact, in his next tweet, he said this: "The Xbox app on Windows is now showing Steam games, and the settings for the Xbox full screen experience on handhelds is starting to show for some Ally owners." And you can see that even in Tom Warren's video, that it's showing directly that there is a full screen experience for the Xbox PC app. This is going to be, in my opinion, the true make or break moment for this initiative, because if the full screen experience is not what it's supposed to be, or does not provide a good UI for the customer and consumer, it's going to fall flat on its face. But things get even crazier, because the one thing that fanboys dreaded the most is that people are now able to launch PlayStation games that are purchased on Steam to the Xbox PC app directly, as again posted by Tom Warren. Here is the Xbox PC launcher game experience running Spider-Man 2 from Steam. The PlayStation PC game launches straight from the Xbox app. The funny thing about this is that PC gamers have been doing this for an incredibly long time already. Basically, whatever game we purchase at whatever storefront we buy, we can simply just make a desktop shortcut if we want to, back in the olden days like I used to do. But now we have other options as well. GOG Galaxy 2.0 tried to do this directly, where they would aggregate all your libraries across different areas and then put them all into one launcher specifically, which worked for a time until they basically just stopped developing it altogether. And it's been left in limbo ever since, where the only way you could make it work is by going to GitHub repositories and installing specific APIs or specific files in order to have those things work directly. The Steam API link no longer functions unless you go to a GitHub to have that done, which can be a little bit cumbersome for some people. The thing is, though, Xbox has to make sure this works correctly. And with my testing right now, there's a lot of work that has to be done. I'm not kidding. So here we are with the Xbox app that has been updated on PC. I'm running the 2507.1000.37.0, and this is exactly what you'll see when you get that update. There were some updates coming over hot and fast over the weekend. That's what she said, and there have been things that have been fixed, like getting rewards points. But if you click on My Library on the left-hand side, you'll see on the left over here all of the games that are locally installed on my PC. At the same time, you'll also see all of these icons of locally installed games. The big problem already right off the bat is that these icons are in fact incredibly low resolution and they cannot be changed. In fact, these are the same icons that are used on Steam when you have it in your library. Here's what I mean. You see these icons on the left-hand side, Diablo icon, Diablo 2, Diablo 4, Balatro, etc. all these games here, if I do just installed only, you'll see the exact same icons that I have listed inside of the Xbox PC app as the exact same icon. These are incredibly low resolution and are just shortcuts to the EXE specifically. And really, this needs to be a massive change overall. I should be able to customize the artwork on these. They should be able to register exactly the fact that, hey, this is this kind of game. Why not connect it all together? And give me better choices for artwork or even making categories on this left-hand side. I should be able to make categories like action role-playing game, first-person shooter, comfy, etc., just like I have over here on the left-hand side of my Steam library, where it's ARPG, comfy, installed, GameCube, N64, Super Nintendo, uncategorized, and etc. Everything that I can choose from, or even games that I've completed, just made easily in my own library directly. Unfortunately, though, you don't have that here on the Xbox PC app. So that's a huge factor overall. On top of that, though, what I would like is not just to be able to see the games that are locally installed. I would like to be able to see my entire library. Xbox needs to connect with Valve specifically to let us sign in to Steam through the Xbox PC app, just like we did with GOG Galaxy 2.0, giving us access to our entire library and then being able to go ahead and locally install whatever we want from one place specifically. Additionally, there are PC games that will not function correctly with an X input controller, which simply just like this. Some games require only a mouse and keyboard, and some don't even register X input at all, thereby relying on Steam's big picture mode to do it for you. On top of that too, if you have Steam open in the background while you have the Xbox PC app open and you hit the guide button, you'll pop up Steam instead of the actual game bar overlay, which would also take you to that again. So it's kind of going to put me in Steam big picture mode instead of doing the actual game bar overlay, and now we're stuck here. You'll have to make that actual change specifically in your Steam settings to not have Steam open up into big picture mode or launch when you hit the main guide button overall. These little idiosyncrasies and things like that are going to be some factors that Xbox has to work through. My biggest recommendation would be for Xbox to go ahead and just have Steam be closed and let you sign into Steam through your Xbox PC app, allowing Xbox to have the API access they need to do that, giving you the ability to go ahead and just say, hey, it's not just what I have locally installed, but my entire library in general, then letting me create categories and things like that and going along that way. The problem, though, is this bar right here. It's not good. I'm sorry. It needs a big overhaul and work. Anything that you try to use with a controller just won't function correctly. It's cumbersome, annoying, and just too many movements that I have to do to try and get anywhere. On top of that, though, as you can see, the only way to get back is to hit the back button. And if I go into the settings option, I can't close this tab. I can't. Even if I back out and I open it up again, I'm still back with this settings tab specifically. So it's a bit cumbersome as well. The only way to close this is to, in fact, use my mouse to close it. There's no true option for a big picture mode with this kind of setup, and Xbox needs to create one very quickly, and I'm talking about like needs to make one yesterday for this to be viable. Because here's a perfect example. Here's my Steam big picture mode. This is exactly what I want Xbox to emulate and even copy, dare I say, because now I have full complete access to my entire library, and then I can see exactly what I have here. I can even change any settings that I need or anything else along that nature, and it would work seamlessly and easily. Now, this could be exactly what Tom Warren was talking about in his previous tweet, where there is a full screen option, but this option has to come to PC as well, because if the only thing they're going to be doing is putting the Xbox PC app on their consoles, this is just going to be an absolute failure in my personal opinion, and it's really not going to function the way it's supposed to. Xbox needs to show something like this as soon as possible for their next generation, because when they do and allow people to test it, they can go ahead and say, oh, this makes sense. Now this works. And it would be easier for them overall to push that message completely. And we talk about like controller support. As you can see here, it says controller for Panzer Dragoon. If I go to Counter-Strike 2, it's not going to show me the controller, but I should have this option to go through and adjust controller settings inside of the Xbox app as well. This needs to be copied 100% overall. Being able to remap any key to an X input controller and have specific templates like keyboard and mouse like we see here, not just relying on other facets like Steam. I feel like these kinds of updates should have been happening 5 to 8 years ago, in my personal opinion. Not happening now while having Xbox under the gun to try and catch up to Steam, who's been doing it for quite a bit longer and has really ironed out a lot of the kinks. Now, even with all those issues that I talked about, they could easily be fixed very, very quickly if Xbox and Microsoft do the right thing and focus on the right aspects first. Because once those issues are fixed, you can have a very seamless transition between console owners understanding why PC gaming is so great and providing a good UI front end for console users to access all these other PC games as well. This could work the way it's supposed to if Xbox does it the right way overall. The thing is, though, they need to start showing what they're going to be doing now and providing more information to consumers and customers, because just the mere idea of people seeing this kind of thing is getting them excited. And I'm not kidding, even the biggest normies on the internet are hearing about this and basically saying, I might get an Xbox now.
We at PlayStation are happy to announce that we are officially developing the PlayStation 6.
Okay, cool.
And we at Xbox are also excited to announce that we are developing our next-gen consoles powered by AMD.
So, do I get a next-gen Xbox or PlayStation?
Well, with the PlayStation 6, you'll be able to play PlayStation exclusives day one on release.
What about you, Xbox?
With the next-gen Xbox, you'll have the freedom of a PC with the convenience of a console. This means that you'll have access to stores like Steam and Epic Games. Although we won't have PlayStation exclusives on day one release, you'll be able to play them 12 to 15 months later through the Steam store. In addition to this, you'll be able to play games like Silksong on day one release with Xbox Game Pass.
Okay, that's a no-brainer. I'm getting a next-gen Xbox.
So when it gets to that level and it gets to be that serious, from even the fact that normies are understanding what they're going to be getting overall, this could be a good sign for true competition in the gaming space, giving players and consumers more access to more games. However, though, it turns out the internet is going to be the internet, and people are in fact angry that Xbox is offering this option to players instead of just competing in the same rat race that everybody thinks they should compete in. No, I'm not kidding. Even ex-CEOs think this exact same way. Because Xbox hater extraordinaire Mike Ibarra in fact said this: tough to see at Xbox confused about who it is and what it should be. Some great people there still. They have to figure out what needs to change, and fast. I'm a big fan and will always bleed green. Bicep flex emoji. Cheering the team on for the sidelines. Pick your lane and stick to it. It's kind of wild how the same guy who, in my opinion, completely killed Blizzard is acting like he's cheering for Xbox when he has been consistently known to every time move away from the Xbox organization, and Xbox buys a studio or publisher he works for, he just quits that very next day. I'm sure you're bleeding green, and I'm sure you're cheering from the sideline, but we can all see through that thin veneer and veil that you constantly have been posting out, Mike. The fact that so many tweets of you have been listed on site about talking about what Xbox is doing wrong and not understanding what they're trying to do in the first place really is concerning to me, especially someone who is at the C-suite level of this company. Here is Synth Potato saying this: I'm confused on why everyone is making a massive deal of Steam games being playable on the Xbox app. This is literally just a shortcut that opens Steam and presses play for you. The same as just having an icon on your desktop. Why is this a big deal? Well, Synth, it's basically simple. It's not about PC gamers. This is about console-only gamers specifically, who have never had access to anything like this. The fact that Xbox is now bridging the gap between these two areas and providing people access to every single game, not just some of them because of the actual plastic box, is a good thing overall. The excitement about this isn't the fact that they're putting shortcuts in the Xbox PC app. It's the fact that Microsoft, who has been notoriously anti-consumer and wanting massive walled gardens, is now allowing these things to happen in the first place. Basically just shifting their entire tune from the very beginning. We all dealt with games for Windows Live, and now we're seeing them completely turn around and do the opposite, embracing an open structure overall, which would be a good thing for everybody. Imagine the fact if your friends don't have a PC, but they have an Xbox PC in the future, which is just their console they're more comfortable with, and they can play every game with you, regardless of whatever platform or store you buy the game on. That is a good thing overall. That is why people are excited, because no longer will the plastic box dictate what you can and cannot play. Now it's going to be, what game do you want to play now? And that is why people are happy. Here is the PlayStation pony commissioner himself, who doesn't think he's a fanboy, Colin Moriarty, saying this: never ask a woman her age, never ask a man his salary, never ask, as the incurious gamer, how Microsoft will drive revenue by sending Xbox customers to Steam. And this is the biggest self-report I've seen for quite some time, especially from Colin. It's really ridiculous to have this kind of comment and expect people not to clap back at you, because you even said this: I've read replies and quotes, lots of insults, but not a single content description of how Microsoft will harvest requisite revenue by diverting people from their storefront to someone else's. Anyway, have a nice weekend. Again, you're thinking about it in terms of like, how many games are they sell? How are they gonna make it the money? It's simple. Is Xbox forcing me as a Windows PC user to only use their Microsoft Store? How is Microsoft gonna make any money? It's crazy. They're pushing everybody to Steam. Whoa, they already do that now. If it wasn't financially feasible for them before on the PC storefront side, why would they restrict it on consoles in the first place? They're not talking about game sales anymore. They're talking about monthly active users. And if people will choose to go ahead and launch the Xbox PC app instead of launching Steam first, because their entire library is listed there and they have access to everything there and Game Pass, they could potentially gain more users in their Game Pass ecosystem, increasing their MAUs and increasing the money they take in. On top of that, combining both of those things together with PC gamers and console gamers who are not comfortable with going to PC, you now have a branded platform that is consistently based upon, hey, it's not about how many consoles we sell, it's about how many monthly active users we are now providing, which means that every single user, whether PC or console, is now considered an Xbox MAU. They'll either harvest your data like everybody else tends to do and sell it off, because that's how a lot of companies make their money. They'll either bet that you'll go ahead and buy Xbox Game Pass or even buy a game through the Xbox Store. They'll go ahead at the same time and then give you more access to either pay for their services as well, even though you're buying a game on Steam. It really is ridiculous, because a lot of the games that you have on Steam are not available on the Xbox PC app. And instead of losing someone to Steam wholeheartedly, they'd rather keep that person there and make them stickier for Xbox PC than to go ahead and lose them completely and having them rebuild their library on a different platform. That's what they're trying to do. How you completely obfuscate the actual argument and just base it upon like, what if you drive people to Steam? It doesn't matter to them. What matters to Xbox and Microsoft now is MAUs and keeping people away from SteamOS. How you can't grasp that concept is wild to me. Here's the jilted lover Noir as well, saying this: I don't need an Xbox app to play my Steam games. In fact, I don't need an Xbox at all. True. You're literally proving Microsoft's point. If you don't want to buy an Xbox, you don't have to. If you just want to buy your games on Steam, you can. You can just buy the Xbox game on Steam at full price, or you can go ahead and use the Xbox PC app and have everything together with Game Pass as well. You're literally proving their point exactly. This is also proving the point why they're putting the games onto PlayStation. Nobody on that side wants to buy an Xbox console. I don't know what it is. I feel like they might say it has cooties, but that's not what they're trying to prove. What they're showing is everybody wants to be an Xbox gamer, but nobody wants to buy an Xbox. Shout out Ronnie Coleman. So instead of actually trying to restrict games and make exclusive and create wall barriers, they're just saying, fuck it, we'll flip the table and make everybody buy the game wherever they want to buy it. Stop restricting sales overall and just making more profit in general over time. That's exactly what they're doing. And the fact that you can't figure this out and seeing the kind of game they're playing really is, of course, the sad thing to see. But you're going to be that same guy crying about Xbox again like you do basically in every single tweet, because you were an Xbox fanboy and now all you do is cry about Xbox. So hate to see it, my boy. And this tweet from Destin, I think, really hits the nail on the head. I think PlayStation and Xbox are doing great things right now. This handheld has me excited. If PlayStation made a similar device, I'd be excited too. Barriers falling down, I think it's amazing. At one time, I thought Xbox would make everything exclusive. During the FTC trial, it was made abundantly clear that would not be the case. In fact, they basically told the judge that their plans were much different, and they're acting on that plan with a new strategy. Xbox lost the console war. Now they're making rapid changes that will get more gamers playing their games and giving easier access to more storefronts. You know who that's good for? The player. And if it's good for the player, then I'm all for it, no matter the platform. That's been my exact same stance the whole time. People call me an Xbox shill, an Xbox grifter, when that's farthest from the truth because I don't even own an Xbox. What I want is more people to play more games regardless of the platform that they're on. The entire idea of having console exclusivity has never made any sense to me, especially growing up incredibly poor. But the fact that Microsoft is now tearing down these walls and making the very first steps to have this be a reality is a great thing overall. The big ticket, though, is are they going to be able to pull it off and be competitive to what SteamOS is doing and keep players not only in their ecosystem but also on their platform of Windows? And that's going to be the thing that we need to see. Xbox and Microsoft have a lot of work to do on this still. They really don't have the right setup right now in the first early stages of what's needed to be. The clock is ticking very quickly on their next console launch, apparently, because people are saying it's going to be in 2026. So these updates and these changes have to come hot, fast, and ready. Pizza, pizza. So Xbox and Microsoft definitely have their work cut out for them. The entire fight that they're going to be going up against isn't just with consoles anymore. Now they're fighting to try and keep their operating system structure still alive and well and competing it against from Steam. And the best way to do that would be to provide different options for current users on Windows to stay on that platform, and at the same time give them better experiences overall. It would be fantastic if, as a regular PC gamer on Windows, I had access to all the digital games that I bought on my 360 and OG Xbox, being able to play them in a big picture style fashion overall, and then have that directly there. That would keep me away from SteamOS. It'd be even better if Microsoft was able to de-bloat Windows specifically and have me launch into a game mode, just like SteamOS does. There's so many things that they have to work on and get out very quickly that it's going to be very difficult for them to do in the first place, but it's going to be excited to see. And everybody's still talking about what about game sales? How are they going to make any money? Are looking at it from the wrong lens. They're seeing it from a perspective from the early 2000s and even the 90s. They haven't grown past that. We are beyond that space in general. We are now in the era of platform wars, no longer console wars. And game sales aren't going to matter as much as people are actually claiming them to be. We're going to see monthly active users be the main source of engagement overall and how much revenue people are pulling from each monthly active user. But anyways, with all of that, I want to know what you guys have to say about this in today's video. Have you tried the Xbox Insider PC app? What are your thoughts on this as well? Do they kind of align with mine? And do you think Xbox is on the right track for this on top of that? Now, if you want to see more of this kind of content, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, my hot takes in the gaming industry, fanboy content, and live streams every Saturday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 86,000 subscribers, and I just want to say thank you guys so very much. If you want Discord access or most during live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. If you don't want to spend the buck, don't sweat it. Come on down Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern during the live stream. Trust me, you'll have a hell of a time as I get insulted by about 800 to 900 people with AITTS. It's great. Trust me. With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!